So I'll be talking about my educational class, and it'll just be one chapter. So psychology is the study of human behavior. Educational psychology is the study of human behavior in educational setting. Proposition can either be true or false, and it's what people talk about. It's their ideas. Two types of propositions are observational and logic. Experimentation is a study of something, and they record the effects that it has, and they usually manipulate the variables. Ethnography it's when they grab a group of people and watch natural events happen and see how it affects them. Principles are statements that are true or probable. In the end, they're mostly just always equal. Beliefs can either be naive or personal theories. A model is a low-level theory that represents or describes something. The common models of human psychology is mechanistic, organismic, and discursive. Mechanistic is human psychology as a machinery. Organismic is the human psychology as it occurs naturally, unfolds naturally. And discursive is human psychology as a form of speech or conversation. So the models of the role of a teacher can be executive, a therapist, and liberationist. Executive is that they plan everything for the student and tell them what to do. Therapist is they're empathetic, so they help them with their own self-growth. And liberationist, they're empowering the student and letting them speak what they want to speak. Development is the adaptive changes that are orderly usually. Types of human development are physical, personal, cognitive, and social. Physical is the changes in the human body. Personal are changes in personality. Social are you grow up and you're able to relate to people more. And cognitive are changes in the mind, and they usually happen gradually. Maturation are things that happen naturally that are in your genes, so it's not the environment, it's more nature. The two basic tendencies of Piaget are organization and adaptation. Schemes are categories that you make in your mind. Adaptation is when you adapt to environment, so you adjust. Assimilation is applying your schemes to new information. Accommodation is changing your schemes to fit new information. Equilibration is when you use either accommodation or assimilation and it works with your schemes and you understand it, and that's when you hit equilibrium. Our psychology is shaped by historical, economical, culture, political. So appropriating is being able to internalize what you learn from others or what you learn from cultural tools. Elementary functions is what you already know naturally. And high mental functions is when you are more sophisticated and you know new information. The stages of language development are social speech, egocentric speech, and inner speech, which is a private speech. Social speech is when it's at the age of up to the age of 3 and you can control people by just using one word, and it changes their behavior and makes them do things. Egocentric speech is talking out loud but to yourself and controlling your behavior. That's from ages 3 to 7. Inner speech it starts at the age of 7. It's a private speech, so you just self-talk in your mind and you control your behavior by that instead of saying it out loud. Zone of proximal development is the zone where you're in between being ready and not being ready, and by a little bit of assistance you can learn what you want to learn. Scaffolding is being supported of your learning, so like they tell you not to forget something, or they assist you, they help you, they plan things for you. Assisted learning is a little more planned out, so they actually think of ways to help you, and they actually like tutor you in a way. It's those kind of things until you're independent enough. Self-concept is knowing your knowing your own beliefs and knowledge. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, so your own personality and characteristics. Self as subject is your own individual that's like outside of the world, and self as object is you're an individual and you know your own characteristics and who you are. Theory of mind is understanding that other people have different thoughts and beliefs and knowledge as well. Not everyone is the same as you. Social comparison is where you compare yourself to people around you. Academic self-concept is who you are as an academic student. 3 types of correlations are positive, negative, and no relationship. And positive is when 2 things go up, negative is 2 things go down. So let's say you were not to eat, your weight would go down, like you eat less, and no correlation is they just don't relate at all. Collective self-esteem is depending on what group you're part of. Mens rea is guilty mind, and actus rea is guilty act. Aristotle was a very moral person. These are mostly just quotes, so I'm just skipping past those because they're not definitions. Moral realism is when students see rules as absolute and you can't change them. Morality of cooperation is when, I'm not sure about this one, that people make rules and they can change them. Decentering is when you look at everything, not just one specific part of something. 3 levels of moral development are pre-conventional level, conventional level, and post-conventional. Pre-conventional is the consequences about yourself, and conventional is the social rules, and post-conventional is looking at the ethical, what's right for you, what you think is right. The criticisms were that he only studied men and was inconsistent, like you could go back and forth from stage to stage. There was not really that much evidence. An ethic of care is being good to yourself, being good to others, and being good to both, so a balance. Empathy is being able to feel what others are feeling, like in their emotions. Nature versus nurture. Nature is your genes, and nurture is how you erase your environment. Socioeconomic status is when it's like your place in society, so depending on your job, your education, your healthcare, all that stuff. Deviation IQ is looking at the average of your age group So you divide what you got on a test, and then you divide it by that and times it by 100. Spearman believed in general abilities and specific abilities. So Sternberg's triarctic theory of intelligence, he had analytic, creative, and practical. Okay, go back. Skip these ones. Learning style is the way you learn for something. So like your strategies. Field dependence is you like working in groups better than working by yourself. So you just know more when you're with others. Field independence is you like working by yourself and you're better at reading and writing. So in general, you're just better in school, kind of, in a way. Validity is how valid the test is. So if it's consistent for what they tell you. Giftedness is when students achieve very high, and usually they're put in different classes. But they're not gifted in a lot of things, they're usually gifted in one specific thing. Acceleration is when you go past a subject really fast. Enrichment, they're put into different schools for gifted students. An individualized education plan is specific to the student, saying what their abilities are and what they need to work on. And the last one is contiguity, and that's when two relationships have a relationship. So like when you remember one, you remember the other one. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.